Yo, what's happening, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Sports Talk of Elite Wages. I am obviously Elite Wages, and I know it's been a long time since the last time I jumped on and gave you all an episode. Had a lot of things going on before Christmas and after Christmas, to start the new year, but I'm planning on being back for the foreseeable future. But I thought it wouldn't be right if I didn't finish the way we started with the NFL. Obviously started way back when, in early August, for the breakdowns for the NFL. So we're going to be back, and I'm going to try and do you all a solid and win you some money for the Superbowl 60 coming up this weekend. So I'm going to run down in this episode. I'm going to give you all a little bit of a preview of the Superbowl matchup. I'll run through my best bets and my favourite bets for the game too. I'll run down some long shot bets I have for the Super Bowl, as well as the novelty bets to go along with it. But a little bit of fun to tail. A save game parlay, which I'm going to have on the game, and then some fantasy as well, where we'll head over to FanTeam, and I'll share some of my fantasy selections as well for that. So I'm going to lock in. Just before I'm able to lock into the Super Bowl preview, I want you all to jump over to my Twitter as normal, at Elite Wages. Upcoming MLB season will be starting soon. We've got Champions League and Premier League in full flow, which I should be jumping back on with some fantasy selections as well. NBA is in full flow. Formula 1 starts in a couple of weeks. Got some boxing, some UFC. So I am planning on coming back and sharing some more episodes in the near future as well. So make sure you follow me on all socials, but more importantly on X or Twitter, and I post on there quite regular. So let's jump into the Super Bowl preview. Obviously, as we all know, it's the Seattle Seahawks against the New England Patriots. They're going to face off in Super Bowl 60 on Sunday night in Santa Clara in California. The number 1 seed in the NFC against the number 2 seed in the AFC. Both teams, as you can see, 14-3 on the season. So it's obviously going to be a very, very good, tight fought contest. As you can see there on the matchup predictor from ESPN, nearly 60% favouring Seattle to 40% to New England. Weather looking good. Seattle Seahawks minus 3.5 favourites, season leaders as well, both very, very similar. Drake May obviously slightly better in terms of his passing, touchdown ratio, and interception ratio is a lot higher as well. Smith-Njigba obviously leads the league in receiving yards, but Patriots have got a good receiver in Stephon Diggs. Obviously defensively, both two of the best defensive teams in the league, as well as both offensively very, very good as well. A few injuries for Seattle Seahawks. Most notable is Charbonnet. He is on IR. He is going to miss the game. As for New England Patriots, got a lot on the questionable list, but all should suit up. So it's going to be a very closely fought matchup. As I said, the Seattle Seahawks remain the favourites in this game, minus 3.5 favourites. They've opened up on DraftKings, and this is going to be their third appearance. But according to predictions, odds, current spreads, and things like that, from Polymarket in particular, they favour Seattle over England. 68% on there, as I said. It's around 60% on most analytical websites as well. But again, as mentioned, this game's going to be a very, very tough contest for a number of reasons. One of those reasons being we've got two of the best defenses in the league, as I mentioned before. You can see here their top tacklers and top sack leaders and things like that, up there with the best in the league. The Patriots have won 16 of the last 17 games. They've shook off a 1-2 start to the season. They've wrestled the AFC East crown from the Bills. They won it 5 times in a row, and they've got into the playoffs for the first time in 4 years. The Patriots had their contender legitimacy questioned They faced one of the easiest schedules in the NFL during the regular season, which came out to around a .39 combined opponent win percentage. They erased any doubt of that with their postseason run. Started off with a 16-3 win against Los Angeles Chargers. That was in the wildcard round. They also had a 28-16 takedown of the Houston Texans in the divisional round. Obviously, the Texans have played very well during the season. And then they went to Denver and they won a very, very defensive battle, 10-7 in that one. So some very good performances in the postseason. The Patriots had beaten. They were 0-4 in prior postseason games at the Mile High Club as well, at the Mile High Stadium, the Mile High Stadium, which is Denver's stadium. So Drake May obviously leading the team to a very, very good postseason into the Super Bowl. He's a 23-year-old MVP candidate. He is up there with Matt Stafford for this award. He led the league with a 7.2 completion percentage during the regular season. He ranked third with 31 touchdown passes and fourth with 4,394 passing yards as well. Didn't throw too many interceptions on the year either. He rushed for a further 450 yards, 4 touchdowns, and although he was sacked 47 times, which is the 4th most times in the NFL last year, in the 3 playoff games he's played in overall, he's completed 43 of 77 passes, which is 55%, and that's for 533 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, along with another 141 rushing yards and a touchdown score as well. It should be noted that the Patriots faced 3 of the top 5 teams in total defense in the playoffs too. As I said, they had an easy run to the playoffs, but when they got into the playoffs, they faced 3 of the top 5 best defenses in the league. Now they're going to play the best defense in the NFL as well. But to add on to that, the defense for the Patriots was one of the best as well. They allowed the 4th fewest points in the league this season. They ranked 22nd in 2024 and 15th in 2023, so a huge improvement on defense this year. They've given up an average of 8.7 points per playoff outing this year too. So New England will face their biggest test so far in the Red Hot Seahawks. They themselves have won 9 in a row, and 13 of the last 14 games. The Seahawks have emerged as true contenders in the season, but more importantly in their Week 16 contest with the Rams, where they won 38-37, which turned out to be one of the biggest games of the year for themselves. They allowed the fewest points during the NFL season in the regular season this year, and they also scored the 3rd most in the league. We talked about Drake May, but the quarterback for the Seahawks, Sam Darnold, he is playing very, very well. His career revival continued this year. He completed a 67.7% of his passes for 4,048 yards, 25 touchdowns, 14 interceptions during the regular season. Wide receiver Jackson Smith-Njigba, 119 catches for a league high 1,793 total receiving yards, along with 10 touchdowns. Sam Darnold has yet to throw a postseason interception. Defensively, they ranked 3rd against the run during the regular season. That's 6th in takeaways as well with 20. Okay, so I am a little bit ashamed to say that I have been, I've not been huge on Seattle this season, but there's obviously no denying that they have been one of the best teams in the league this year. As I said, 14-3 record, 1st in the NFC, so the number 1 seed in the NFC. I don't think I was alone in thinking that Sam Darnold's, his skill set, if you like, was going to be capable of taking the Seahawks to the Super Bowl, but he's actually won the most games of any quarterback over the last 2 seasons, and he's gone 30-7 straight up. He's an incredible 25-11-1 against the spread. As I mentioned, Seattle finished the year as the top-ranked team in total DVOA, also leading the defense in DVOA as well. McDonald's squad is the 6th team to achieve this feat in the past 8 seasons. 4 of the other 5 won the Super Bowl, as I mentioned before. When you've got a squad of sort of this caliber, it's easy to see how they've been ranked so highly and how they are actually a Super Bowl contender this year. To put the nail in the Patriots' coffin, Drake May he's going to attempt to be the youngest quarterback in the NFL, in NFL history actually, to win the Super Bowl at just 23 years old. Since 2023, quarterbacks under the age of 24 are 0-6 straight up against Mike Macdonald's defense, throwing just 1 passing touchdown, 8 interceptions, and taking 22 sacks. As I mentioned before, Patriots, they've had an extremely fortunate road to the Super Bowl, so let's not forget the difficulty in the Seahawks and the Patriots. According to many metrics, the Patriots were given the easiest schedule in the NFL regular season. In the playoffs, they beat they beat three of the top 5 defenses from last season, but 2 of those offenses were ranked in bottom 10 in EPA metrics and things like that. In the AFC Championship game, they faced a backup quarterback and yet nearly lost. That game was 10-7. So I am, however, a huge fan of what the Patriots have been able to do this year. Just click over to the Patriots here. Obviously, they've been led by Vrabel's stellar defense and MVP candidate Drake May. EPA metrics will tell you that Patriots are the best offense in the NFL. Statistically, their slate of opponents obviously gave them an easier route to the playoffs, but they've been able to perform and outperform different teams during the season. They only faced 3 defenses that ranked in the top 10 in defensive EPA per play. One of those defenses was the Browns, who are notably worse on the road in every postseason game so far this year. They battled top 10 defense and top 5 defense in two of those 3 games as well, and the result has been obvious. They're simply not as good against better groups, averaging just 18 points per game in those 3 contests. May's playoff statistics took a little bit of a dip. Only 3 in those 3 games, only 4 touchdown passes, 4 turnovers as well, 19 punts. So this Seattle defense is an aggressive style team. They're a group that was second to only the Texans in total defensive EPA. It's obviously very difficult to run on Seattle as well. They allowed just 3.7 yards per carry. Statistically as well, the Patriots have a double-headed backfield duo in Henderson and Stevenson, with Henderson not getting many carries during the last game. But it's going to be even harder this week for them to run on this defense, where they are the 3rd best, with first overall for yards per carry allowed to the opponents. And obviously Drake May's going to have a hard time against this secondary, who holds opposing quarterbacks to a league best 6 yards per pass. For a quarterback like Drake May, who's been brilliant in spots during the season, he simply hasn't been challenged very much by top-ranked defenses, and it may be too tricky for him to overcome. The Seahawks, they've won 8 games by 10 or more points. Let me just click over to the Seahawks again. They've won 8 games by 10 or more points, and they actually average a winning margin of 12 points. I don't sort of expect this game to be an easy game for either team. As you can see there, some good results for the Seahawks. I don't expect this to be an easy game for either team. I've got more confidence, and I'm far more comfortable backing Seattle Seahawks to win this game. Especially after everything we've seen throughout the season. They've played some very good teams, top teams, and still been able to come out winners. I don't expect a blowout, however. As I said, the average win margin is 12 points. There is a world where the Patriots could well cover a +5 spread, So I do think this game actually stays within 10 points. But I think the best way to play this game is by backing the Seahawks to win between 1 and 13 points. And I think that's a good enough margin and one of the better bets on the day for me. To add to that one, we're going to go with another player for the Seattle Seahawks who I'm really high on. I was high on him this year and he's played very, very well. It's going to be Kenneth Walker. Obviously now he doesn't have Zach Charbonnet as he's out of action, so he's going to be the lead back. He's going to have all the carries and things like that. He should play a crucial role in this game for the Seahawks. He's crossed this line of 100 rush and receiving yards in 4 of his past 5 games. As you can see here, he did it just rushing last week. He did it just rushing against the Steelers as well. But he's been in the receiving game as well a lot this year. He's going to dominate touches in the backfield. Obviously, like I said, no Charbonnet out of action. Walker's seen at least 20 touches in every game since Charbonnet went down. And he will be the catalyst behind the Seahawks this year. And in my opinion, he'll be the catalyst behind the Seahawks Super Bowl victory. Walker always makes the most of his opportunities. He averages 3 yards per carry after contact this season. He's one of the NFL's best explosive and most explosive backs. He ranked 3rd in runs of 15 or more yards this season with 18, and he was 6th in evaded tackles with 80. In addition to that, he led the league in evaded tackles per touch at 31%. The Patriots are one of the best defensive teams against the run as well, but they do average, they allow an average of 110 scrimmage yards to the running back position. So I think with no Charbonnet, the threat of Jackson Smith and Jigba as well, along with Cooper Kupp and the speed of Rashid Shaheed lining up on the outside, I think Walker should have a lot of success during this game, and I think he's going to be one to watch for this game. And I think he's going to clear his line of 100 rushing and receiving yards. To sort of add on to that, any running back to score a touchdown of 4 yards or less. Obviously, there's a huge reason for this bet. The last time these two teams faced up in a Super Bowl, Russ Wilson famously threw that interception on the 1 yard line. When you have Marshawn Lynch in the backfield, you'd be stupid not to use him on 2nd and goal from the 1 yard line, and that's exactly what they were. They were stupid. Why does this come up now? So I'm gonna assume the Seahawks aren't gonna go back to back and do that again this year. Both teams possess top running Walker and Charbonnet. They combined for 21 touchdowns this season. Stevenson and Henderson, they combined for 17. But of those 21 for the Seahawks duo, 7 of those were from inside the 5 yard line, and for the Patriots duo, only 2 were from the inside the 5. Although that converts to around a 24% total touchdown by running back. These two teams inside the 5 yard line, I think if the ball does get inside the 5, I don't believe either team will take risks like the Seahawks did in 2014. Instead, I expect a short yardage running back touchdown to power through. So it's basically a bit of a hunch. So any running back to score a touchdown of 4 yards or less, and that's going to be at minus 115. But I think there's a little bit of value in there if you think about it as well. Whenever the ball gets inside the 5 yard line, and you've got 2 powerful backs for the Patriots and Kenneth Walker on the other side as well, I think you're going to have to use him and not take any risks. So any running back to score a touchdown of 4 yards or less. Now, on another level, we're going to go for the special teams and defensive units. So I'm going to go for both teams to score a field goal of 34 yards or more. So the field goals obviously might be a boring prop to take. It's something that probably no one wants to see too much of. But both teams have been fairly hot on offense, scoring touchdowns majority of the time. They have also been consistent in kicking field goals. So Jason Myers for the Seahawks. They've actually been hitting an average of 2.3 per game, which is second most in the league. So Myers, looking at his game here, he's been able to kick, more frequently. He's hit 15. He's hit 15 of 41 made kicks being less than 35 yards. So he's had a field goal longer than 34 yards in 15 of 17 regular season games. His season high being 57. When you look over to the other side, let's go to the Patriots kicker. I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name. He's been averaging 1.6 per game during this season. He's actually converted 27 of 32 kicks this year, over 50% coming from further than 35-yard line. His season long is also 59 yards. This is loud. His season high being 59 yards. So in a game that is high stakes for both teams, points are going to be a must. I think both teams' defenses being fairly locked down. I expect there to be a fair few field goal attempts in this game, and with both kickers being very reliable, it wouldn't shock me to see a few deep field goals made. Both teams to hit a 34-yard or more field goal is another one of my best bets for this Super Bowl game. And now we're going to go over to the defense of the two teams, and this one's going to be over 2.5 total turnovers at minus 110. These two teams are, obviously two of the best defenses from this season. An area that both teams particularly excel at are forcing their opponents to turn over the ball. But they both rank as top offenses during the season. But one area both teams have struggled was limiting their own giveaways. So second most there is got Patriots down there with 1.1 per game. But the Seattle Seahawks actually give up the ball the second most in the league by fumbling the ball, and they actually average 1.5 per game. In this game, I trust both defenses a lot, trusting them to be able to make plays. Obviously, with this being the Super Bowl, I think it's going to take a huge defensive play to try and shift the change of the game, or even need to take risks on offense, which could lead to a few mistakes, interceptions or fumble, trying to gain some extra yardage or anything like that. So over 2.5 total turnovers at minus 110. And then the final one for me in this, my final best bet for the Super Bowl is going to involve Walker and Jackson Smith-Njigba. It's going to be Walker and JSN to combine for over 1.5 touchdowns. During the regular season, JSN had 10 touchdowns and Walker had 5, so they combined for 15 of the 44 total touchdowns by the Seahawks offense. But since the turn of the playoffs, obviously they played 2 games in the playoffs this year. Points are a necessity. Both teams being confident in their kickers is another huge reason why this could hit. In certain situations, 60-plus yard field goal will be attempted. This is the kind of game that will have those attempts, and it's not uncommon to see this this season for deep field goals. They were attempted 22 times being attempted, 12 converted this season. So I'm willing to take a small punt on nice odds for this to happen during the game. So longest field goal over 59.5 yards at plus 2100. The next one is going to be for the Super Bowl MVP, and this is a long shot, but it's probably one of my favourite long shot bets, and it's actually going to be for the Super Bowl MVP not to be a quarterback. That's going to be at plus 170. So a long shot bet, not by long odds, but by longer probability. Since 2008, 13 quarterbacks have won Super Bowl MVP. Amongst those, there was 3 wide receivers and 2 defensive players making the probability for it to be another quarterback around 70% likely. I believe this game could be set up for a number of players or positions to win this award. Both teams possess two of the best defensive units in the league. Either side shutting down their opposing quarterbacks while securing a win could win them a Super Bowl. Malcolm Smith, former Seahawks defender in 2014, Von Miller in 2016, both won it. Malcolm Smith, former Patriot. As mentioned before, Walker should have a huge impact in this game with the correct sort of game script and the stat line. He could be the first running back to win this award since 1998. Similar reasons as well for the best wide receiver in the league in JSN. A huge workload, a huge stat line, a few touchdowns, and a clinched win could be enough for him to join his teammate and the last wide receiver to win this award in Cooper Kupp. So while we have positive odds on any of the sort of 80 plus squad members that aren't a quarterback to win this MVP award, I'll take a stab. So MVP not to be a quarterback at plus 170. And in addition to this, I'm going to sprinkle Walker to be the MVP at plus 700. So in addition to a non-quarterback MVP, I think Walker has nice odds and a potential for a nice game script upcoming. Obviously, as I said before, in games without Charbonnet, Walker has effectively been the primary back. His performance has materially improved, both in yardage efficiency and touchdown production. With that in mind, I believe Walker will have to end the game with around 100 plus scrimmage yards and a touchdown, possibly two, while lifting that Lombardi trophy to win the MVP, a scenario in which, in theory could happen. Another way this, that may be able to happen is for any player to score an octopus. That's at plus 1,700 odds. It's not a common bet at all, but again, it's not sort of uncommon. Only 7 octopuses were scored this season. And in addition to that, no player has scored an octopus in NFL history in the Super Bowl. With two teams having their favourite red zone targets, obviously Henry for the Patriots, Walker and JSN for the Seahawks. Ballsy play calling could make them go for two, in which it wouldn't surprise me to see the same player being used to attempt to complete an octopus. At huge odds, I'll take another stab at a fun long shot bet in this one, like plus 1,700 odds. I'll take a stab. And again, to back that up, novelty bets, and obviously these is more guesswork, primarily bets that everyone just sort of guesses on. So for obvious reasons, not many reasons as to why I'm taking these bets. The first one I'm going to go for is the Gatorade colour. I'm going to go for yellow/green/lime, all in the same bet. That's going to be plus 275. From what little information there is out there about sort of team preferences, etc., my basic understanding is that teams don't sort of match coloured Gatorade with their team colour. They have multiple coolers on the sideline, multiple flavours are used during games. That makes the Gatorade pour more sort of spontaneous. The most common flavours are orange, yellow/lime, and blue. Basically due to being better for hydration, apparently. Those three are the top 3 in odds as well, but at a complete guess, with no stats available, I'm going to go for yellow/lime/green. Obviously getting 3 colours in the same bet is good enough for me. So Gatorade colour yellow/green/lime plus 275. Another one I'm going for, again, no stats behind it at all. It's going to be Cardi B to wear a Stephon Diggs jersey at plus 170. Obviously they're currently dating. She's been seen at every game with Robert Kraft, and in a Super Bowl, it wouldn't surprise me to see her wear her man's jersey. So that plus 170. And then the last one is going to be for Bad Bunny to sing under 11.5 songs at minus 110. Again, not many stats to go with this one, but when you do look at sort of stats for previous Super Bowl halftime show performances, let's have a look. Actually, I've got it here somewhere. When you look at previous Super Bowl performances, under 11 songs has hit in three of the last five halftime show performances. So I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to go for Bad Bunny, under 11.5 total songs sung. And just to recap every bet that I have during this NFL playoffs, during the Super Bowl, we're going to start off with the Seahawks win by a margin of 1 on 13 points. That's plus 110. Walker over 99.5 total scrimmage yards at minus 120. Both teams to make a 34 plus yard field goal at minus 130. Any running back to score a touchdown of 4 yards or less at minus 115. Over 2.5 total turnovers at minus 110. Walker and JSN combined for over 1.5 total touchdowns at plus 160. Same game parlay. JSN 7 plus receptions. May over 6.5 rush attempts. Henry over 19.5 receiving yards. Walker over 74.5 scrimmage yards and under 65.5 total points. That's a plus 440. That's without a boost. I know there are a lot of boosts out there, so if you do want a same game parlay to boost, join me and use it on this one. Long shot bets, a 60 plus yard field goal scored at 2,100. An octopus scored at plus 1,800. A non-quarterback MVP at plus 170. Walker to be the MVP at plus 700. A successful 2-point conversion at plus 370. Novelty bets, Gatorade pour color yellow/green/lime at plus 275. Cardi B to wear a Diggs jersey at plus 170. Bad Bunny under 11. Okay, so as you can see, obviously the best odds for majority of these bets that I am placing is on FanTeam, so head over to the FanTeam Sportsbook to place these bets on as well. But we're going to move over to fantasy. We're going to have a look over here. And for the fantasy NFL Super Bowl 60 contest, when this loads up, we're just going to get over to that contest. I'm going to share a few lineups that I have placed for the Super Bowl, obviously based on things I've been saying in the preview at the beginning, and also some of the bets and things like that I have placed during this episode. First up, we're going to go for Drake May as my captain. I don't think much needs to be said. I think they're going to be playing from behind, and that means he's going to be able to have to throw to Stephon Diggs, who's going to be my vice captain. He's had a few big games for the Patriots this year. Added to him, Hunter Henry, a safety blanket for Drake May as well. I think these are going to be the guys that are going to help the Patriots on offense in this game. I cannot not pick Jackson Smith-Njigba. I think he's going to have a huge game, whether they're flying front or playing from behind. Also going to go for the defensive or special teams for the Patriots. I think it's going to take a big defensive display from them to be able to keep their offense involved in this game. And then we're going to go for a bit of a long shot on Williams. He's lower priced. There's been a few occasions where he's found himself in a deep situation where he's called in a deep ball. Might even find himself getting into the end zone on this occasion as well. And then also for my second team, we're going to start off with Jackson Smith-Njigba as the captain. Nothing much else needs to be said. Kenneth Walker is going to be included in this team, and then Sam Darnold is going to be the one feeding these two the ball quite frequently within this game. We're also going to go for the defensive and special teams of the Seahawks in this game as well. Again, similar to the Patriots, it's going to take a big defensive display from this team to be able to keep them involved in this game. We're going to go for Booty as well, the second highest rated priced player for the Patriots in terms of their pass game. And then we are going to go for Bobo, and obviously there's a few rumours circulating that a few players are falling out of favour in this offence, but for numerous reasons. I think Jake Bobo can capitalise from that. I think he can help his team, similar to Williams, get a few deep balls and things like that. So there's my 2 fantasy lineups broken down. There's all my best bets and everything like that. So make sure you get involved on FanTeam. Head over to FanTeam, £10 buy-in, £3,000 prize pool. Sportsbook has the most competitive odds in the game. Don't look any further than FanTeam. Make sure you head over. You can click my link in my link tree as well, and you'll get a little bit of a nice little bonus there as well. But I want to thank you all and appreciate you all for listening so long. Obviously, I haven't been on here in a while, so I'd appreciate any sort of love that I can get. Like, retweet on Twitter, like, subscribe, share on YouTube and Spotify or any other sort of social media platform that I'm on. And I wish you all good luck for this Super Bowl matchup, Super Bowl 60. Hopefully we can all win some money. And hopefully I helped you win money with my previews and things. So let's lock in, let's get it, and I'll catch you soon.